welcome back to Halftime TV. Happy Sunday, one and all. Naranda Brown here, your host. And before we get into today's topic, let me say a huge shout out to my sponsors, Quicklink Shipping, RS Sports Store, and CSA Shop. And I know everyone on here, you've heard me say this 1,000,001 times before. You can check out Quicklink Shipping at Quicklink Shipping on Instagram or on Facebook at Quicklink Shipping. Anything you need whatsoever shipped into the island, Quicklink Shipping has you covered. The same thing for RS Sports Store, all your sporting clothing and apparel. Check out RS Sports Store. They have some really sweet deals as well. Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, you name the team, they can get those jerseys for you and you can get them customized as well. So check out RS Sports Store on Instagram at RS Sports Store. Okay, now today we'll be talking about the pen relays. I did a video last evening about the pen relays, and we spoke at length about how extremely proud we were of the athletes and what can be done in the years to come to ensure that the pen relays is more accessible, especially to folks in Jamaica who are avid fans of athletics. But again, I think it's primarily because the pen relays is losing its significance. And I watched a video yesterday where Oral Tracy, most folks know him. He's the host on sports commentary as well as the sports explosion on Hits 92 FM, and he spoke about the pen relays not being that important in recent times, and I must agree with him. I agree wholeheartedly, as a matter of fact, because when you look at the talent that we were pushing through to send to the pen relays, for one, Heidel, they were struggling to find the finances to make the trip to the pen relays, and as such they had to send a depleted team to take part in the event. Now, at the end of the day, Jamaica swept both the male and the female relays. We secured the 4x1 for females through Edwin Allen, the 4x4 for females through Heidel, and the 4x8 through Edwin Allen as well. On the male side, we had Camperdown securing the 4x1 for males. 4x4 went to KC and 4x8 went to JC. But why is it that folks in Jamaica had such a difficult time, and even some folks in the States as well who were watching from home, they had a difficult time accessing the pen relays? It was extremely difficult for even myself, located in Canada. It was so hard to find the Jamaican races, the races that Jamaicans were taking part in. We just weren't seeing them, and a lot of folks have reached out to me and they've indicated that halftime, the only way I got to see it was as soon as the race was completed. I got the opportunity to watch it back on YouTube. And again, considering this is a championship of the Americas, as some may say, most of the headlines that we saw were Championship of America, and it was quite misleading, because watching on, you thought, is it of the Americas or of America? We know the pen relays, it started in 1893. It was primarily expected to be a domestic meet, but as it grew larger, it spread its wings, and eventually we had folks from all over the Caribbean being invited to take part as well. And Jamaica has been one of those teams that has been a mainstay at the pen relays year in, year out. Most of the records, especially at the high school level, they've been held by Jamaican teams, whether through Calabar, whether through Veer Technical, whether through Edwin Allen. So the Jamaican teams, they've been the staple at the pen relays, and I think it's a marketing ploy more than anything else to pique interest of the folks in the folks in the United States, Jamaican diaspora residing in the United States. Because even if you go through the pen relays, their Twitter page, not one interview was done or is published on there where they were interviewing Jamaican athletes. There were hundreds of interviews done, but none with Jamaican athletes. As a matter of fact, we only saw Jamaican athletes when they were posing with their plaque. That's it. We didn't get the opportunity to see them as humans, but only to see them as athletes or pawns in the bigger scheme of things. And in an age where everything is stressed on diversity and inclusion, we must feel some type of way. I know it's a tongue-in-cheek situation, and most folks they trod thin lines when it comes to topics of this nature. But I couldn't help but notice that if the Penn Relays is it's all inclusive, it's a Caribbean, it's an invitational with Caribbean teams there as well. It should be Americas instead of America, because when you pay attention to those races or the headlines of those races, you don't get the slightest impression that Jamaican teams will be taking part. And even on the Twitter pages as well, as I mentioned before, you don't get the slightest impression that Jamaican teams are a part of the meet. All right, so now I'll go through some of the times that were registered by the Jamaican athletes at the Penn Relays. And I know a lot of folks on here, they're saying, but Halftime TV, we didn't even get to see it, we're just hearing about it. No. I think if you pay keen enough attention to the events that transpired over the Penn Relays, you'll realize what I'm talking about. All right, so in the 4x4, Heidel secured gold in 3 minutes 32.77 seconds. That team entailed Aaliyah Baker, Brianna Liston, Kirika Hill, and Orica McAnuff. Edwin Allen was in second with Amoya Jemison, Tony and Beckford, Casey and Powell, and Natasha Fox. They registered 3 minutes 39.76 seconds. All right, now the record, the Penn record then is held by Heidel, and it's 3 minutes 33.99 seconds. So essentially, this new Heidel team broke the record that was there before, and considering the achievement of this team, I think they deserve a little bit more highlight. And I'm not begging them to do interviews with the athletes or to publish the interviews, but I'm just imploring on them to make it seem a little bit more inclusive. They spoke about the Penn Relays being a developmental meet, and I must say it's development for whom? Whose development is it aiding in? Because we saw our Jamaican athletes at the Asa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs, phenomenal, exceptional. Most of us blown away. We were through the roof in excitement with what our athletes had to offer. Same thing at the Carifta Games. They came out, they showed everything that they had and everything that they were capable of doing. And for us at home watching on, we were asking ourselves, how much better can these athletes do? Now going over to the Penn Relays, it's basically the same thing we saw at the Carifta Games, because Jamaica swept all the relays at the Carifta Games, and over to the Penn Relays, Jamaica swept all the relays again, albeit it's different teams. We had Camperdown, we had Casey, we had JC on the boys' side. On the female side, we had Edwin Allen and Heidel, which was the case at Champs anyway, Edwin Allen and Heidel. So I must agree, I must concur with what Oral Tracy had to say on the matter, because I think it's development for the United States athletes more than anything else. It's more beneficial to them than it is to or Jamaican athletes. As it relates to scouting, scouts are going to Jamaica to scout the next Usain Bolt or the next Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price or the next Elaine Thompson-Hera or the next Veronica Campbell-Brown. Scouts from universities and colleges in the United States or all over the world, they're going to Jamaica. They're flying in to sit in the stands at these developmental meets that are happening in Jamaica. Western Champs, Eastern Champs, Central Champs, whatever, you name it. They're flying in to see these individuals. And I know it's an opportunity for some of our local athletes to travel, to go on a plane, to see the bigger picture, to compete on the international scene. Fine. But apart from that, I can't see any other benefit that the Penn Relay is bringing to the Jamaicans, and especially being so closed off from the population. It even shows that it is definitely not for us. We are there, but we're only there to entertain the crowd and to keep it interesting, because in a meet where there are only United States athletes or only United States college athletes taking part for the majority, it's not interesting. So putting in a little bit of Caribbean spice and flavor in there is what makes it a little bit more intriguing and a little bit more enticing. And for those in the diaspora who are residing in the United States or Canada, it makes it interesting for them as well, because they'll get the opportunity now to actually go and sit in the stands if they didn't get the chance to come to Champs or to come to the Carifta Games. So I think overall, that's my 2 cents on the matter. I want to hear what you, the viewers, have to say. Is the Penn Relay as beneficial to the Jamaican athletes as we think? or as it is pictured to be, or played out to be, or painted to be. Let me know. I think its significance has depleted significantly, and we continue to see it across the board. The media isn't showing that much interest in it from a local perspective, and even the US media, they aren't highlighting the Jamaican athletes that are taking part. They aren't even showing the Jamaican races, as was brought to my attention, because personally, as I said, I had to struggle like some thorough search to find the Jamaican races, and it shouldn't be that difficult, because if it is a championship for the Americas, then folks in the Americas should have access. If you pay your money to subscribe to Flow Tracker, to whatever it is that is bringing the Penn relays, then it shouldn't be so difficult for you to actually see the races that you're actually interested in watching. And most folks, especially from the Caribbean and Jamaicans living abroad as well, they're interested in watching the races that Jamaicans are taking part in. So that's my 2 cents. Again, as I said, remember folks, your feedback is always welcome. We want you to leave it in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Shout out to my sponsors again: Quick Link Shipping, RS Sportswear, CSA Shop. Penn relays, more bad than good in my opinion, but again, that's just my opinion. Let's hear what you guys have to say. I hope and trust each and every one of you will have a stupendous Sunday afternoon, enjoying a Sunday dinner. Blessings from HalftimeTv. Peace out.